So I'm currently on my way to Leicester County Court and obviously going to a court case today. So for those that are new to my channel, my name's Calvin. My channel's called Calvin's Car Diary. I'm a car dealer and it's essentially the diary of a car trader, right? Now, I haven't been to court for many years. This particular case has been going on for many years. Today is finally that day that we're going to court. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewind back to yesterday where we talked through the case, talked through the ins and outs of it. Then after that, we can get to Leicester, get to the court and let it unfold from there. Right then, so we are back in my office and I've got all the paperwork in front of me for this case. It's an interesting one, it's a really interesting one. We sold a Mini Cooper S, 2011 Mini Cooper S back in May 2022. The car had done 57,000 miles at the point of sale. The day before we sold it, we had it MOT'd and serviced. Had 3 former keepers. It went out a really nice car. By the way, it was sold at our previous site, so obviously we're a couple of years on now, almost 3 years on, for £5,750. So like any other car, it went out and we just assumed that she was a really happy customer. 8 months later, she had a problem with the car and we didn't have any knowledge of the problem. She just had a problem with the car. It was actually a failed fuel pump. So that issue happened in January 2023. Cost of that problem was £700. So to repair that problem, it was 700 quid. The total claim amount that she's taken us to court for is £3,500. Now the reason why she's concluded that as an amount is because after the fuel pump went, 7 months later, if I refer back to her initial claim, it went again. So she's basically saying the garage that fitted it, she didn't go back there, she went to another garage, she actually went to a BMW main dealer and she had it done again because the one that they fitted had failed. The second time around it cost £2,500. In the meantime, the battery and the alternator failed, a total cost of around £600 and the inconvenience of recovery and stuff, so a total of £3,500 on the dot. So understandably, she's disappointed with her car. The car went out with a warranty, like every retail car, but not with a warranty for any longer than 6 months. We received a phone call at reception at the new site about a year ago. The customer's called up, she's not happy, and she's expressing her level of anger towards us quite clearly over the phone. And she's basically saying she's had problems with her car. She bought it 2 years ago, and she's taken us to court because she's not happy. She wants £3,500 out of us. We couldn't remember her or the car. We do now. We were just like, okay, that's fine. We just thought that she might have just been having a bit of a moment, and you know, this is doesn't seem to be reasonable. We then received an email from a money claim. Customer X is taken to court for a claim of £3,500. Before it goes to court, would you like to have a mediation? A mediation service, for those that don't know, is basically where, to prevent it from going to court, to save the judge's time, what they do is they book a phone call appointment with a mediator. The mediator will contact the claimant, contact the defendant, and try to mediate and come to some kind of a mutual agreement. So that did happen. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Let's attempt to save the judge's time and save my time as well. And let's do a mediation call. So the mediator contacted our customer. And they then contacted myself. And I said, for the benefit of saving time and to get this problem out of the way, I'll give her £100. That's it. I'm not accepting any amount of this claim, but I'll give her £100 just to save any further aggro. She rejected my £100 and said, I'll see you in court, which I was like, okay, that's fine, that's absolutely fine. So we ended mediation. I then got an email from the claims court, which is in Leicester, the customer is in Leicester, and I've got court day, as you know, which is why we're filming this video. In the meantime, I've paid solicitors just to do me a defence on my behalf, which I've got here. And just stating out the facts of the situation, the car was sold for £5,750. It was 10 years old at the point of sale. It had done 57,486 miles. The customer then went on to drive the car. She's done a total of 28,000 miles in the car, so she's done a lot of driving in it. That was at the point of, that was between 2 MOTs, so it's been heavily used throughout that period. Since applying the vehicle to the claimant, the defendant has no knowledge of any issues that have arisen as the claimant has not referred the vehicle back to them at any point prior to the issues of these proceedings. Reading is not my strongest point, by the way. Recent MOT that shows the vehicle is now on 82,570 miles, which is 28,000 miles more than the time of purchase, which we've just mentioned. We've also mentioned that the fuel injection pressure pump, which is the original issue that was raised, is a wear and tear item. Therefore, we cannot be responsible for a wear and tear item. Now, I say it all the time with cars, like, they are used items, and as much as I would love to promise the world to every single one of my customers, it's not possible. It's just not possible. We do work with a great warranty company, Warranty First, shout out to them. They're very reasonable money-wise. We do bolt-on warranties, offer them as an additional cost even for customers wanting to bolt on warranties to their cars when they buy them. A lot of customers, they've got this thing in their head that warranties ain't worth the paper they're written on, so therefore they opt out and just settle for standard consumer rights, which is fine. But in this case, had our customer have took a proper insurance warranty from Warranty First, then this whole issue would have been solved. But then again, if the case goes her way and she gets a £3.5 claim back, then the best thing she could have ever done was not pay for that warranty and just palm all the problems back to the dealer. So we will find out. I don't think there's much more to state here other than the fact that I've got an appointment to get to tomorrow morning at 11:30 in Leicester. Bit of a run, a lot of time out of my time, paid for solicitors, a lot of time, conversations with Jerome, conversations with staff. A lot has gone into this, believe me. But ultimately, if the customer is in a position somehow, I could be missing the trick somewhere here, but if the customer is in a position where she is rightfully due her £3,500, then I will willingly pay her that money. So let's get back to tomorrow and get to court. So we are back on the road, back in the car. We're still a good hour away, so plenty of time to just throw in a bit of conversation about, how I'm feeling, what we've got ahead of us, and I'll give a little thought on how I feel like this is going to go as well. But one thing I want to touch on quickly is I had a friend go to court recently, and he called me on the court day, and he was very anxious, he was nervous, he was a bit worried about it. I was like, you're going to be fine, like, don't stress about it, it's what it is, you're going to go there, and the judge will judge the situation. And he said, have you got any advice for me? I said, yeah, go in there and show respect to the judge. I think the ultimate thing you can do, the most important thing you can do even, is display respect to that judge. That judge is there to just judge the situation, hence why he's a judge. It doesn't create the laws, it's not down to him to create the law, it's just there to judge that situation. So go there, get there on time, or early, I'm getting there early today. Dress well, present yourself well, go in there with a notepad, bring your own pen as well, respect the judge. If anyone's if you're in a situation where someone's got higher power, whether you're dealing with the council, dealing with a judge, dealing with the police. I know we all like to moan about the police, or they're just bullying us around or whatever. If you display respect to them, you stand a far better chance of having a positive outcome. You're not guaranteed a positive outcome, but you're guaranteed a better chance of having a positive outcome. Because if you rub them up the wrong way, then they're going to be less inclined to swing it your way. And in fact, if you do that in any situation in life, respect the other side, consider their side. Consider, like, I'm going there today considering all 3 points of view. My own point of view, the claimant's or the customer's point of view, and the judge's point of view. It's really important that you consider all three and show respect to all three corners, if you like. Ultimately, they're going to judge it based on facts, but at the same time, respect them, respect their time. And I think that's really, really important. Now, my feeling on this case is it's going to be over very, very quickly. It's at 11:30 a.m. I think, providing it, they're on time and stuff, it might be really busy. I think I'll be in and out of there in no time. The judge will just simply present or read the claimant's side, read the defence side, and hopefully just judge it based on that. There might be a few questions coming my way, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure, or I'm confident how I think this is going to go. And I'm hoping I can just get there, get it dealt with, and get back to work. Either way, whether I win or lose, I will gain. I'll gain knowledge, I'll gain information, I'll get feedback from my customer today, and I'll also gain, I suppose I'll gain a YouTube video as well, which is a positive. So yeah, let's get to get on the M1, continue on this journey to Leicester, and get this case out of the way. This is it, we've arrived in the middle of Leicester. Do I want to park in here? Is this even close to the county court? I don't even know. How far away am I from the court? This will be alright in here. This will be fine. I don't think I'm too far away. Don't curb the wheel. Don't curb the wheel. Sunny, sunny Leicester. Sunny, sunny Leicester. Here we are. Here we are. Thanks for ticket. There's 2 ticket machines. Sunny Luton. Oh, that was low, man. Oh.
Then they're right.
You can be quite. Oh, look at that space. Sorted. Let's go and win this case, yeah? So I jumped out of the M3 and made my way to the county court. A quick Insta story before I headed in. Leicester County Court. It's gonna make a good YouTube video, this. For obvious reasons I couldn't film inside, but the outcome of what happened whilst inside is something that you are definitely going to find quite interesting. Right, we have a conclusion. Let's head back to the car. Oh, it's cold. Wow. That was interesting. Plot twist. So I walked in there, I sat down, the first thing the judge said to me was, Calvin, did you do your checks when you bought that car? I was like, yeah. He said, what checks did you do? Did you do a car vertical check? I was like, yeah, I got it here. And coincidentally, they are the sponsor of my channel. I will link them in the description below. Use my code CCD to get 20% off your car vertical check. So I pulled it up and look, this is what you want to see. I said this to the judge, it's all green ticks, the mileage is all good. It's got no finance on it. It's got no previous damage. And if you scroll down, yeah, for the benefit of this case, that is where the customer bought it, about that point there on the May 2022. Obviously we've got it MOT'd at that point, and you can see the mileage graph just spikes up, and it's been a good car. Oh, I assume it's been a good car. I assume it has. We're going to come to the conclusion of the case shortly, but yeah, it's all good. That is what you want to see when you do a car vertical check, and you can see the customer's Mini was all clear, it's all good, it flew through an MOT, and you know, in theory it should have been a great car for her. So yeah, I'll show you an example of what you do not want to see when you do a car vertical check, and as ever I will link them in the description below. Use my code CCD to get 20% off, and the plot twist is what you want to know. The plot twist. Interesting. Let's go, let's hit the road, and I'll tell you exactly what just happened. You're gonna be shocked. I say shocked. Yeah. Majority of you are going to be quite surprised. The conclusion is basically, I got there, I arrived in the waiting room, and I checked in and I waited. And then when I checked in, the receptionist said to me, Mr. Fair, are you expecting the claimant to be here today? I said, yeah, I am expecting her to be here. He said, is there any reason why she might not be here? And I was like, no, as far as I know, I think she's going to be here. I've never actually met her myself, by the way. I've never spoken to her, so I just assumed, you know, she's pulled me into court, therefore she'll be there. And it got to the time of the appointment, 11:30, went to sort of 11:31. I was looking at the time, 11:32. Nobody walked into the waiting room, and they then called the case and said, can you please make your way to courtroom number 1? And only I got up. There was no other. There was other women in the room, but there wasn't any that was walking there, making their way towards courtroom number 1. So I thought, well, it must just be me then. I made my way into the room. Yeah, she wasn't there. In a nutshell, she wasn't there. Sat down in the room, the judge was in front of me, there was no claimant. So I just assumed instantly, well, this is just going to get struck off and the case is going to go in my favour. Sat down, and the judge said to me, are you Mr. Fair? You here on behalf of Binker, Fair Brothers Limited? And I was like, yes. And he said, well, it looks like the claimant's not here, so therefore we're going to have to assess this situation without her being here. I was like, brilliant. And his conclusion was, he believes that she needs the opportunity, she deserves the opportunity, and as do I, the opportunity to have the car inspected by a professional, like a BMW specialist of some kind. Now, I've had an opinion on the situation myself from Sitnar themselves, who have actually were the final repairers of the car, and also from VRS in Northampton, who wouldn't be considered as a fair opinion because they're friends of mine, but both of them have said this is a wear and tear item, therefore, you know, and it was outside of the 6-month warranty or consumer rights period, therefore it is not my problem. He said, I can't judge this today. There could be a genuine reason why the claimant isn't here. I said, you're right, yeah, absolutely. Just because she's not here, it's not fair that we judge this in favour of you. And I said, I respect that. That's absolutely fine. So he said, I'm going to write to yourselves and to the claimant and give you the opportunity to have the car inspected. As a joint, it needs to be accepted by both parties. Based on that professional inspection, we can then conclude this case. And I said back to that, but if on the assumption that this, I say on the assumption, the fact of the situation is this car went wrong at month 8. She bought this car as a consumer under the Consumer Rights Act, okay? So the Sales of Goods Act is present on the sale of this vehicle, which means that within 6 months of her buying this car, anything that goes wrong with it, anything that mechanically fails, we as a business should cover. Because it failed, the fuel pump failed in month 8, well, that was outside of that period. None of us were, we had any knowledge of this happening any sooner. The first knowledge we had of it actually was about a year ago, which was much more than 8 months after the time that it went wrong. But at the point that it failed was at month 8 after purchasing the car. So I said, therefore, surely, if you're in a position now to strike this case off, which he said, Mr. Fair, I am in a position to strike this case off, and I could do that, but I just don't feel like that's a fair conclusion to this case. And the reason for that is because this car could have gone wrong sooner, and the customer, the claimant, may have evidence that it went wrong sooner. So I said, so if this car had gone wrong in month 5, if the fuel pump had failed in month 5, would we then be liable for the bill, the repair bill on that car? And he said, yes, you would. So now the claimant has the opportunity to get the car inspected, providing I agree to that and we can both agree on a place that's mutual to be inspected. And that, whoever they are, that garage, that professional, inspects the car and concludes somehow. I did explain as well, this was years ago that this happened. I can't see how anyone could look at a car today and conclude that it went wrong on a certain month in time. Sounds impossible to me. He said, I agree, but there is a chance that someone might be able to conclude that that car went wrong month 5. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I have no care or interest currently getting the car inspected because 1, it's going to cost more money, and 2, that person could just be on the safe side and say, do you know what, it could have gone wrong in month 5, it could have gone wrong in the first period. I don't know, but I know myself that that car, it broke down in month 8, and in month 8 I am now no longer responsible for that car. So we've got to do another court hearing date. There is going to be another date, and that is going to happen in this video. It's going to happen in the next couple of months, so this video is going to be dragged out over a few months, I guess. But what's frustrating is there's 2 things that I think need to be spoken about here. 1, I'm a used car dealer, I'm a businessman, and I enjoy my business. I love doing what I do. I'm friends with lots of used car dealers, and our biggest fear, and I know we can all sit here and say, yeah, but used car dealers are dodgy, people are dodgy, cars are whatever. Every car dealer I know only has the intention of providing good cars or supplying good cars and making money along the way, preferably making a profit, right? It is not in anyone's benefit or favour to sell cars with problems, but cars do go wrong. So if this case gets concluded in the customer's favour, which at this point I kind of hope it does, because it will prove such a good point that this is not good for business owners like myself, because I know this is the law and I know this is the rules and I get it and I understand that this customer, and I am mindful of her side of the situation as well, that this car, I can't guarantee that a car isn't going to go wrong within a 6-month period. In every case I try it, and this is we sell over 1,000 cars a year, and this case, in the time that it's you know, in the time that she's bought this car, we haven't had another case. This is a very one-off scenario, but every car dealer I know is quite fearful of these situations. So point number one is, it's not a good message for people wanting to get into the car trade, I don't think, because it's worrying, you know. You've got to be committed to this used item for a 6-month period. We MOT'd and serviced the car before it went out. We've done our absolute most, and PDI'd it as well, of course, to make sure that that car went out a good car, and it did go out a good car, and it broke down, unfortunately, 8 months later. We've done our best to deliver a good vehicle to our customer at that point in time. The other point that I think is worth talking about, that is kind of aside the matter, but it's worth talking about anyway, is the fact that this law, I believe, isn't good for the customer either. And the reason why I say that is because what you're actually doing is you're teaching people that it's okay to not be responsible for your own item. And anyone who does do that, and they know they're doing it because they're using the law in their favor, that is disgusting. Like, that is absolutely disgusting. Right and wrong is factual. It's not something that the law should come in and dictate whether something is right and wrong. The law doesn't work for right and wrong in this situation, I don't believe. And there will be a mixture of comments below. If it is genuine, even if it's genuine and the car has genuinely gone wrong within that 6-month period, how on earth is it possible for any car dealer to have known that? And even if it was, how could someone be angry towards that car dealer, like that dealer's done something intentionally wrong to them? It just makes no sense to me. If you bought a used item of any other kind, you wouldn't go back and it failed within 5 months. You'd think, say it was a TV, you wouldn't think, oh, do you know what, my TV's broke, let me go back to the person. It's their fault. They've sold me a dodgy TV. I'm going to go back to that TV store, I'm going to shout at them. And this, by the way, this is what has happened with us. We've had anger expressed towards us, like we've actually intentionally done something wrong. I want my money back for my TV. I want you to pay for me coming here today. I want my inconvenience paid for. I want the TV repaired. You've sold me a dodgy TV. And there'll be a debate in the comments about this as well. I know there will be, because some people say, yeah, but you sold me the TV, therefore it should be correct. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you that your TV isn't going to break within 6 months. I can do my utmost to ensure that when it goes out and it leaves my store, that it's going to be a good TV in the first 6 months, but I can't promise that. What you're actually doing is you're teaching people to be irresponsible. And it is a law within this country that if anything goes wrong, if anything fails, and you buy a used vehicle from a car dealership and you're a consumer purchasing under the Consumer Rights Act, that you have every right to go back to that dealer. Fair enough, that's the law. But I honestly believe that that is an unfair law, and it's negative for both sides. It's negative because car dealers, it scares them. It genuinely does scare car dealers, and it's also negative because, in my opinion, I know she may well make a financial gain here, but forget money. I don't care about money. What you're doing is you're teaching her and everybody else that they can be responsible. There'll be people watching this video right now and they'll be like, do you know what, if I can get away with that, I'll do that. What, I can just say that my car broke down, therefore you fixed it, or I want a refund within 6 months. That is not a good message to send to people. If my car breaks down, if I buy a used vehicle or a used TV, we'll use the TV as an example, and it breaks within 5 months of owning it, I had the option. I could have bought a brand new TV and paid more money, and it would have come with a 12 or 2-year warranty or whatever it comes with. But by buying that TV, I would have had absolute peace of mind. And if it had have gone wrong within that period of time, then I would absolutely have gone back to the store. I've paid a premium, I've paid more for that TV. It's a brand new TV, it's gone wrong, I'm now disappointed. I know you didn't intend on that happening, but I'd like either a refund or a replacement TV. If I save money, if I've got budget and I buy a low budget TV on, say, Facebook Marketplace or from a used TV seller, we won't use Facebook Marketplace because they're generally private sellers. If I buy a used TV, I know full well my motive or my reason for buying that used TV is because I am saving money. It is cheaper and the risk should be on me, and I accept full responsibility of that risk. And I would feel silly if I went back to the shop at month 5 and said, I'm not happy, I want a refund, or I want a repair on this TV. So yeah, that's my feeling on it currently. I'm currently on the M1. I'm on my way back to Milton Keynes. It's been a bit of a wasted journey. I hope the claimant is okay, but she hasn't appeared today. There could be, as the judge mentioned, there could be good reason for that. I hope she's okay. I hope she's well. And you know, either way, this situation is going to be positive, because whether I win or lose, as mentioned, money comes and goes. I don't care about money. I care about what myself and all of us are going to learn from this. So yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to the outcome. I've got to go home now, sit tight for the next couple of months, crack on my life, and await a second hearing date. Plot twist, innit? Massive plot twist. I'm going to go services to get some lunch. I'll see you in a couple of months' time. So myself and the customer both received a letter from the court to say that they felt it would be reasonable for a specialist to look over the car before going ahead with a second court date. They gave what I felt was an extremely fair time frame of 2 months, with the final court case being on the 11th of July. Now, I didn't hear anything from the customer during this period, so I obviously assumed that she didn't want to go ahead and get the car inspected, and I was keen to get the final court hearing out of the way. But that hearing couldn't go ahead unless the customer made a £300 payment to the courts, and for the meantime all I can do is wait. And the deadline to make the payment is 2 weeks prior to the case, which of course is on the 11th of July. And we've just had a letter come through the post. Looks to me like, in fact, it is a court letter, because on the back there it says return address Leicester County Court. So in this envelope we're going to find out, well, is the court case going ahead or is it not? Let's see. It is ordered that the claim is struck out and the claimant has not paid the hearing fee as per order dated 21st of March 2025. The hearing scheduled for 11th of July is vacated. So the lady basically hasn't seen it through. All of that time, cost and energy, not just from myself but my staff and my legal team, went into this case, and the lady couldn't even show up. I personally feel like the conclusion to this situation should be the customer being automatically charged for my loss of time and expense. But unfortunately, the courts have said that I need to open a new case in order to make that happen. But I am not willing to give any more of my time or energy to this person or situation. But if it was a simple click of a button, I would do it without thinking about it. I'll link Car Vertical in the description below. Don't forget to use my code CCD to get 20% off when you're doing your checks, you absolute sausage. Oh, and please, and I'm sure you will do this anyway, let me know your thoughts on this situation in the comments below.